Most of the time, people do not want to acknowledge how our environment, our experiences, and even the things we say to ourselves shape our reality and our nervous system. So let's slow down with this and just look at one person, okay? So here it is, the body, right? Head, shoulders, chest, waist, hips, and then down to the knees. I'm not drawing the feet. I'm just really trying to make an example here, okay? Now, in the head, you have the brain. This is where sensory information is coming in, where communication is happening, where thoughts are being processed. The amygdala, the thoughts, right? Constantly scanning for what feels safe and what feels like a threat. Then we move down to the chest, okay? And in this area is where the heart is, where you breathe, your lungs. This is where the nervous system is actively responding in real time. When we move down a bit to the pelvic area, this is where the womb is, where hormones are regulated, where there's a cycle. For women, there's menstruation, reproductive, men, the penis, all of the functions of that, right, going on in this area, all right? Now, even though I've separated these areas, this is still all one system. All of this is communicating at the same time. The brain is constantly trying to process these areas. This is still one system, right? It's trying to process all of this happening in one environment. What is being said, what's being felt, what's being experienced, and who is coming in and out of this person's life. As this information is coming in, the body is also deciding whether something feels safe or unsafe. That could be the tone. That could be a tone of voice, right? That could be the pressures, things being slammed around, stomping, doors slamming, vibrations, jumping on the bed, the couch, bumping into different things like that, right? Just simple things happening. Simple thing, what might seem simple to you for another person, this person, right, in their environment, based off of their conditioning and their upbringing, this might be an indicator for something that is urgent, right, loud, something that strikes an emotion or some tension, something that's familiar to them that strikes up an old or suppressed emotion that they have yet to address, right? As that information is coming in, all right, this person may perceive it as a threat. The amygdala picks up and sends a signal to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus then activates the body's stress response. Activates the body's stress response by signaling hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. That is what puts the body into fight or flight mode, which is a response. So now the body is no longer just existing, it is responding. Just like if you were to be sitting at the dinner table or something and somebody stands up and reaches over to, grab a butter, grab the toast, grab salt or something like that. And then all of a sudden they jump. Could it be something that you did? Maybe not all the time. It could just be from going to war. It could be from previous experiences that they've had. Could be from getting whoopings, when they was kids. Something happened over time and the body then starts to live in that response. Now, I want to take the next step further because this doesn't just start with adulthood, okay? This starts early. Over here, I have drawn the womb, right? This is a womb. This is the early life, the fetus. This is where development begins. And this is not an isolated environment. The body forming here is influenced by stress, environment, safety, stability, right? The noise and frequency that is existing within the atmosphere of this individual carrying the child. That means the nervous system is not just forming, it is forming in response to its conditioning. Then we move over here to the house, right? And in the house, is involved in the home, the school, everyday environment. This is where experience start to show up. This is where you get cycles and repetition. This is where the programming is. This is where tone, behavior, structure, and emotional patterns are introduced over and over again. Then we have the brain, right? The brain is taking all of this information in as data. It is learning behavior. It is forming patterns. It is building what we call responses. Survival responses. So now what we started in the womb continues through childhood and then stores in the brain and in the body, back into the body. And then it connects all the way back around to what I explained before here, right? The atmosphere, the different noises and how it alerts the body, how it sends signals and activates all to a response. It all comes back. Because when this person experiences something in the present moment, a sound, a situation, a tone, pressure, the brain is not just reacting to what is happening right then and there. It's pulling from what has already been learned. And those patterns, those same stored responses feed right back into the system. The amygdala that detects it, the threats, the hypothalamus that activates it, the hormones from the stored responses, right? And then it just flows. It just follows around into a cycle until the individual decides that they want to learn new responses, new ways to react to things, and decide to build an entirely new system. It's not impossible. It truly can happen, despite what people would try to force you to believe, as if you are disposable, as if you are broken, as if you need to be fixed or something like that. It may take time. It may take you going into isolation. It might mean new environments, new people, new ways of communicating. It might mean no communicated at all. It might mean going into new remedies. New science, new healing modalities. And that's what I am about. That's what I am all about. That's where I am in life. And that is why I wanted to break this here down and show just exactly how it is possible for an individual to go through something, learn a behavior, be programmed by the atmosphere, and what it would take for an individual to decide, hey, I think I'm ready for a new system. I think I'm ready to learn a new format, and it's possible. Now, I want to be clear about something, especially when it comes to the female body, right? Menstruation, childbirth, postpartum, miscarriage, abortion, these are not small events. These are full body experiences involving in the nervous system, hormones, and emotional processing all at once. When the body has already been exposed to stress over time, these experiences do not just happen in isolation. They happen within a system that has already been carrying these patterns for a really long time. The body remembers and responds the way that it is based on the experiences that it has had. But at the same time, the body is not fixed. We can learn new patterns. We can regulate differently and change how we respond. Instead of seeing these as cycles, especially menstruation, as something to ignore or push down or make it seem as to be defiled or whatever, we can always change the way that we've been programmed and observe the way that we carry ourselves and take it onto new patterns, unlearn what we was taught, learn new ways, and then improve our environments and the way that we live and speak and think.